So, hello everybody and welcome. Yes, welcome back here at BSN Network. Welcome back here at BSN Network. Hopefully everybody's having a good day so far. It is Monday. Hopefully everybody had a good weekend. We got a lot of stuff to talk about today. We got kind of our final NFL draft talk day. This is kind of our final day talking about the NFL draft. So we have Cora and the cheating scandal. I said Friday that I will be talking about this. Even though it happened Thursday, I'm going to still be putting my opinion on it. Today, I'll also be talking about Jets NFL draft grade. I'm not going to say what it is. I know what I think it is, or I think this is their grade. In my opinion, I think this was their grade that I'm going to share with you. And then The Last Dance, MJ documentary. Part 3 and 4 were yesterday. Very good. Just as good as the part 1 and 2. And the Dennis Rodman episodes were very good. Definitely some odd things. Definitely Dennis Rodman is an odd dude. Not your casual NBA basketball player. Definitely not your casual NBA basketball. Not really your casual human being either. He's definitely an odd dude. But he was unreal. He was a very good player. Had definitely helped that Bulls team out a lot winning the titles in the 90s. So let's get into it. So Cora, who was the leader of this you probably heard of this, but the Houston Astros, the sign stealing scandal. If you don't hear of it, it's last or 2 years ago, or it's been happening for the past 2 years or so. They cheated. Pretty much that's what they did. They cheated. What they had was they had a camera in the outfield, and they had a guy, I guess, down in the stadium banging on a garbage can. And pretty much it was how it is. So the camera picks up what the signs are, and the camera picks it up. The guy gets it, bangs on the garbage can. So for example, let's just say the catcher told him to throw a fastball. That sign will that camera will notice he's throwing a fastball by the sign that the catcher gave. He will notice it. The guy will bang on the garbage can. So I don't know what it quite was. I don't know how many bangs it was, but let's just say a fastball is one bang. So then the Astros hitter knew it was a fastball coming in, because as a hitter, you really don't know what's coming in, and it's hard too in the MLB because they're pitching mid-90s to hundreds. You know, it could be, and some of these off-speed pitches that they throw, they can be crazy. I mean, the way these guys, their pitches drop. So, and sometimes these hitters aren't ready for it. Sometimes these hitters are expecting something and they get something else. So pretty much what they did was they had the hitters know what was coming. So pretty much that whole time, the hitters knew what was coming. So, for example, let's just say Jose Altuve was up at bat. They get the sign. It's a slider. The guy down in the stadium would bang on the garbage can 3 times. Notice giving Jose Altuve the sign that it's a slider. So then he will prepare, maybe change how he's going to swing, change his approach. No, okay, it's a slider. Let me stay back on the ball and wait for it to come in since it's an off-speed pitch, right? Fastball. Let's just say the pitcher, it's a closer, right? Throws high 90s, high to low 100s, 98, 97. Let's say something up there. The catcher gives him the sign, the garbage can, the guy bangs on the garbage can once. It's a fastball. Now, Jose Altuve or any of the hitters, Jose Altuve is a big name. I'm sure a lot of you probably heard of him. Let's just say he knows, okay, it's a fastball. This is a fast pitcher. Let me change my swing a little bit. Let me get a quicker approach. Now, let me he knows now it's going to be an upper 90. He knows it's going to be quicker, so he's going to swing faster. He's not going to have all the time in the world. So he knows it's upper 90, so he's got to fix himself. Maybe that means less of a stride. Maybe that means holding your back closer, just getting contact with the ball, right? Whatever the case may be. So the leader of this all, or the genius behind this all, not really a genius anymore because he might not ever be coaching again, is Cora. And the MLB Thursday or Wednesday, I think it was Thursday, issued, or actually it was Wednesday because I remember saying that Thursday I was going to do my mock draft. Or no, Friday was the draft. Wait. No, Thursday was the draft? Thursday was the draft. So it happened on Wednesday because I remember coming on Thursday and saying that I don't know what day it was. It was either on Thursday or Wednesday, I think. So anyway, so the MLB, so the genius behind this all, you really don't want to call him genius because he's cheated. And the Astros end up going on to win World Series. And the Yankees that year, I'm a huge Yankees fan if you can't tell. Yankees sign there. Yankees there. The little guy there. Yankees there. I'm a big Yankees fan. Yankees there. Up top. Over there. Right? I'm a big Yankees fan. Right? I was infuriated when I heard about the news. Because that season, the Yankees, 2017, they made it to the ALCS. We pushed them to 7 games. And we couldn't win. And that's the sad part you think about it, is because we pushed them to 7 games with them cheating. They were cheating and we pushed them to 7 games. You just think about it, we could have won that series if they don't cheat. And the Dodgers probably would have won the World Series as well. I feel bad for the Dodgers too. They were the team that made the World Series. Now, don't get me wrong, the Astros have a lot of good talent on that team, but I think cheating definitely helped. So anyway, back to my point. The genius behind this all was Alex Cora, and the MLB issued he's suspended for the 2020 MLB season. And I'm looking at it like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? This guy cheated his team. He was the bench coach at then. He's the Red Sox coach, or was the Red Sox coach. And I was like, are you kidding me? Only for the 2020 season? Only? I mean, who knows? We might not even have a 2020 season with everything going on. I think we will. But who knows? We might not even have a 182-game season with how the world's going. Obviously, everybody knows about the coronavirus, or everybody knows about the virus that's going around. I'm sure you've heard of it. It's all over the news. We might not even play baseball in 2020. And you're only going to suspend him for the 2020 season. He should be banned from baseball. He should never be allowed to come close to a baseball field ever again in his life. This is a guy who cheated his team into winning a World Series. You can't just suspend him for the 2020 season. He should be banned from baseball. So should A.J. Hinch, and so should the Astros GM. A.J. Hinch was the Astros head coach. Their GM got fired as well. I think their GM got fired as well. They should be banned from baseball. They should never be allowed ever again to step on a baseball field. They shouldn't be. Right? Now, you could always make the argument, oh, well, the New England Patriots deflated the footballs. They didn't get suspended they only got suspended for 4 games. Yes, I do know that. Here's my whole thing, though, with that, right? It's a little different. Deflating the footballs, I think, is a little less worse. We can all agree, though, the Patriots, that's really when they're starting to become really dominant. Like, come on. Like, they would have beat the Colts either way. You see the Yankees push the Astros to 7 games with the sign-stealing scandal. The Colts got crushed 45-7 with the deflated balls. 45-7 is horrible. So, without the deflated balls, what? They cut those touchdowns in half. They would have had, what, 28 points instead? 28-7, right? Because the Colts that game anyway had horrible offense. So, the deflating of the balls wouldn't have mattered because they still got crushed 45-7. I could see if they got beaten 45-42, it could have been really bad because 45 points is a lot, but 7 points to put up in a game. I mean, the Yankees pushed the Astros to 7 games. It's different. It's a little different. I think this is a little worse. I do agree, though. I think the deflating of the balls, the Patriots, I do believe they could have got a little bit worse. Maybe Tom Brady should have been suspended a season. Because, I mean, if you're thinking about it, like, the Astros, like, the Astros made it almost impossible. I mean, the Astros, like, cheating's just, like, never cheat. You know, it's just, it's bad, right? You just don't cheat. You're not supposed to cheat. And I think with Alex Cora only getting suspended 1 season like I said, I was talking to somebody a couple days ago. I do not think you're going to see him on another team. I really don't. I really don't see him coaching ever again. But my whole point is that with all this going on, like, with all this virus stuff that's going on, you don't know, like, the 2020 season couldn't even possibly it might not even happen, and you got a guy who's only suspended for the 1 season, right? And you could say sorry a million of times. What you did was horribly wrong. I mean, people are comparing this is how bad it is. People are comparing this to the Black Sox scandal back in the way early 1900s. I don't know if you know who that is. I think it was 4 White Sox players. They started to bet and gamble on the games. I think this is how it is. And what happened was the White Sox ended up getting swept. I think it was the Cincinnati Reds who crushed them. Well, it was a 4-0 series they won out of best out of 7. And the White Sox were probably the best team in the league. I think it was 8 players, actually. 8 players decided to gamble, and they said the Reds would win. And they gambled a ton of money. A ton of money. So they purposely made the Reds win. They purposely made the Reds win. Like, they purposely played bad. They purposely didn't hit. Not hit, like, meaning they went up there, but they purposely striked out. They purposely made errors. And all for just the money. And people are comparing this to the Black Sox scandal. I think they're about the same. I think the Black Sox scandal might just be a little worse. But I mean, this is horrible. Like, to only suspend him for the 2020 season that, like I've said 4 times in the show, that's something that the 2020 season you really can't guarantee at the moment. You know, for all we know, we can't be seeing baseball until mid-June for all we know, right? And you never know. So we could only have a 60-game season this year instead of a 162. Or did I say 182 before? I might have. I meant 162. But I just don't understand. Like, I just don't understand. And I just don't think Rob Manfred's done a great job handling this. In the beginning, I was like, okay, he's doing good. You know, he suspended him, he did the action. Roger Goodell didn't do the deflating very well. It is what it is. You know, and, you know, it's almost like back to the whole point, like, you can't blame, you know, it's almost like, it just annoys me because, you know it probably hurts more. I mean, I hear it hurts more for me because I'm a Yankees fan, but it just annoys me that the Yankees had a chance of making the World Series, winning a World Series, and they pretty much got cheated out of it. Like, the Astros just cheated. Like, it's just like, and the dumb part, it's just so stupid. Like, oh, we're gonna set up a camera, steal the signs. Like, that's just so, like, just cheating's just, like, it's just for pros to be cheating. And I'll tell you what. Like, everybody might think, oh, well, the players, like, I do believe the players should get some punishment, too, because a player should have stepped up and said, you know, no, I'm not going to play if we're going to cheat like this. Instead, they all went along with it, and, you know, they all went along with it, right? Not punished like this. I think the players, you know, the players are saying, so like I said, take that back, kind of what I said about the players, right? The players shouldn't really get punished because, you know, the players could have got forced into this. You never know what there could have been said. You know, Alex Cora could have been forcing the players into this. You know, if you don't do this, blah, blah, blah will happen, right? You know, they could have gotten forced into this, so you really can't go with that. But, you know, for the players who did agree with this, and I don't know who, for the players who did agree with all this, you know, I don't know if it's right. You know, I don't think the players should really receive that much punishment, but, you know, I think some of the players could have came out and said, hey, you know what, no, I'm not doing this science. I'm not doing this cheating. You know, I'm not going to do this. You know, there's rumors about Jose Altuve wearing a buzzer on his arm. I think it was mainly the hitters, and I'm not saying this because I'm a Yankees fan and the Yankees have Garrett Cole, who's a former Astro who was playing on their team during this, but it really was the hitters. It was the hitters who were technically cheating, right? Because it was the hitters, it was Jose Altuve possibly wearing a buzzer, people don't know. It was Jose Altuve, it was the hitters, it was all the hitters hearing the buzzes, you know. I'm not saying this, I'm not trying to be biased to Garrett Cole because he's a Yankee now, but I really do believe that the pitchers, they couldn't do much about it. You know, they might have knew about it, but like, you can't do, like, they're not getting, their signs aren't, like, they're not the ones who's really benefiting from the sign stealing. It's the hitters that are. And they're in the American League, the Astros, so they only play a National League team once or twice a year where the hitters or the pitchers are batting. So some pitchers might not even have that bat with the sign stealing scandal going on. But anyway, that's my opinion. I just don't think the MLB's done a great job. I think in the beginning they did an excellent job. The suspending, they went out and immediately. immediately took actions. I think in the beginning they did very good. But now, kind of saying, you know what, only suspending him for one season, that's not what I want to see. I think he should be suspended, banned from baseball forever. He cheated his team into winning a World Series, and I just don't think that's right. I think there's a lot of players out there that lost chances of getting a World Series ring, lost chances of having that feeling of winning. And that's the crazy part is the Nationals, and that's what I'm so glad about. The Nationals beat them last year. So that's what I got for the Alex Cora's cheating scandal. I'm sorry before I said 182 games. I think I meant 162. Yeah, that's what I got for today's with Alex Cora. Next up, we're going to do the Jets drafting. I got the Jets at a high grade. I think they did well this year, or Joe Douglas did well. I think Joe Douglas did well. I think he did well. He did well. So here we go. So the Jets draft picks, I'm going to say it, we had a good draft. I believe Joe Douglas did better than our last two GMs did. I'm pretty sure our last two GMs, or I know it was McCagnon. I'm pretty sure Idzik was before McCagnon. Idzik and then McCagnon. I think Joe Douglas, this was an amazing draft for him. I think it was unreal. I think the Jets had a top 5, top 6 draft in the NFL this year. I think the Cowboys could have had the best. I think getting CeeDee Lamb, that team's going to be... It's just if they could put a season together, and I believe in Mike McCarthy. I think Mike McCarthy's going to be good. I've always liked Mike McCarthy. He's always been a good coach. He transformed made Rodgers what Rodgers is today. I think he could have done the same with Darnold, but the Jets messed up and took Gaze instead. Not surprised. But, anyway, I think the Jets did well. And the one downside of this was I think we could have went at one more receiver. Very proud to have Denzel Mims, though. I'm very excited to see what he can do. I think he's going to be a guy that's either going to be our number 1 or our number 2. I think this season he'll probably be our number 2. Not backup, meaning he'll probably be our number 2 receiver. And then you got Jamison Crowder in the slot. If Nunwa comes back, hopefully he does. And if he injures his neck again, his career is probably over. Because that's 2 neck injuries in the past 3 years. That's a lot of neck injuries to begin with are bad. And it could turn into life-threatening if you have 3 neck injuries or whatever, so concussions. It could be life-threatening because, it messes with your brain, paralyzed, anything like that. It could get ugly. So, because anyway, in Newell's too, he's pretty young too, so you don't want, him to get another neck injury and his whole rest of his life be destroyed, him not being able to do many things, if he has a severe neck problem and he not be able to do much, that could be a problem. But anyway, for example, Rutgers. Look at Eric LeGrand from Rutgers. He got paralyzed. Like I said, it's football's a very rough sport. It's very easy to get paralyzed. These guys leading with their head, and you can only put so much technology in a helmet. You can only make so much helmet stuff. The helmets, it's crazy how the helmets evolved, but still, it doesn't help with guys leading with their heads, going like this. It's just, you gotta play heads-up football. So anyway, the New York Jets draft pick. So number 11 overall, the Louisville offensive tackle Mekhi Becton, the Jets took him. The Jets day 1 grade, I think that pick was an A. I think that pick was an A. A as its grade. Not A+, not A-, just an A. I think Mekhi Becton's going to be very good for us. I think he's going to be a very good run blocker, a pretty good pass blocker. I think he's going to be able to put defenders on their feet, and I think he'll be able to stick with his man. If you look at the highlights, he doesn't let off of his man. He doesn't push somebody over and then go to another guy. He pushes him over and keep pushing him. He plays until the whistle, and that's what I really like about him. With his highlights, it showed he played until the whistle, and I really believe that's what the Jets need, is a guy like that. So I'm going to give their day 1 draft grade an A. No, number 59 overall, the Jets traded back on this one. I was a little worried. We originally had the 48th, traded back 11 spots. I was worried the Jets weren't going to be able to get Denzel Mims. Still on the board at number 59. Jets get Denzel Mims. I say day 2 grade was A as well. Denzel Mims is a very good player. Actually, kind of spoiled that a little bit. Day 2 grade, I still have some more players to go through. California safety Ashton Davis, number 68 overall, Jets took. He can also transform into a corner. He's very athletic. He's pretty quick. He's got good footwork, and I believe this guy could be either good backup safety or he could be a solid cornerback for us, a 2 or 3 cornerback. Florida defensive end Zibari Zuniga, number 79 overall. I believe this guy's going to be good for us. I believe he might be able to be. I think this guy can be a starter for us. I think he will be a starter for us. Coming off the edge, we needed an edge. After we got the offensive lineman and wide receiver out of the way, we needed to focus on edge. I believe Zibari Zuniga is a very good athlete out of Florida. I believe he could really, really help this Jets D on the edge. Florida running back LeMichael P. Ryan at number 20, so I give the day 2 grade an A. Number 120 pick. He's going to be the backup to Le'Veon Bell. This is a good running back, I think, for a guy that if Le'Veon Bell needs to take off a play, I think this will be a very good player to come in. I think he'll be good. He's not going to start over Le'Veon Bell, and the only way he's going to probably start the season if Le'Veon Bell's injured, which hopefully that doesn't happen. But like I said, if Le'Veon Bell needs a play off, because Le'Veon Bell's not going to play every snap, if he needs a play off, LeMichael P. Ryan comes in, I think he'll be good. I think he's going to be a reliable backup, and I believe that the Jets needed that without Bilal Powell. We need a reliable backup. So that's good move there. Florida International quarterback James Morgan, number 125. We need a backup quarterback. David Fales, we re-signed him, but James Morgan probably will be our third string. I think the Jets really want to make sure that third string's average. What happened last year, nobody expected that coming. With Trevor Siemian and Darnold going out early, and then obviously Darnold with mono, Trevor Siemian with the broken ankle going out early, broken ankle, broken leg, whatever it was, going out early, and then we had to rely on Luke Falk, which wasn't the answer. So I think Joe Douglas wanted to make sure, even though I think he wanted to make sure that we were getting a quarterback, and maybe he's probably going to be third string, or maybe second string beats out David Fales for the second string job out of Florida International. A lot of people say, I've heard NFL insiders say, he's a very good leader. And that's good, because let's just say further on in his career, that could help him out later on in his career as well. Especially to some of let's just say 2 years from now, he's still a backup, and then the Jets get a young player, he could, mentor a younger player. By then, Darnold will be grown up and be able to really help out other players. UNC Charlotte offensive tackle Cameron Clark at number 129. I think it was pretty good. I think this is a good move. I don't know if he's going to start. He'll probably not. He'll probably be a backup. But like I said, not every time, there's chances the offensive line gets injured. You got to be careful of that. Especially, I think Joe Douglas put that in consideration a lot this draft, because that's your whole goal is to have the perfect season would have no injuries, win a Super Bowl, have your starters in all the time. But that's not the case. Football is probably the most injury-prone sport, with all the banging and all that. With all the tackling, all the, just the pushing and all that. There's a lot. It's a very physical sport, and I think Joe Douglas wanted to focus on getting backups as well. I do not think this guy will start. I do think he'll be a good backup though. Virginia cornerback Bryce Hall, number 158. This is a very good pick. I did not expect him to drop all the way back to 158. This is a very good pick. I really believe he's going to be able to be a solid number 2 cornerback for us. Bryce Hall out of Virginia. This guy was, they called him the 9th best cornerback in the draft. Going into day 3, they called him the best remaining cornerback in the draft. And I think he will probably have a starting job or be a backup that comes in a good amount during regular games. I think he's going to be a good player for us. He's fast, got good footwork. And I think he's got good hands, too. I think he's going to be able to really deflect balls, get some good interceptions. Texas A&M punter, Brandon Mann, number 191. It's a punter. We have a decent punter now, but I think Brandon Mann, I guess, backup or, I guess down the road, if we trade our punter or whatever, down the road, he could be a punter for us. They say he's one of the better punters in all of college football last year. He broke many Texas A&M records for most punts or punts inside the 20 and all that probably and stuff like that. So I think he'll be good. I think, this is an average. He's a punter, so we don't really know. It's not like it's a quarterback that's going to change the team or a receiver that's going to change the team. So you got to give day 2 a B or day 3 a B plus grade. Some of these guys are going to be backups. I think Bryce Hall probably will be a starter, or like I said, a backup, a cornerback that comes in, a pretty good amount, because there's a lot of cornerbacks that rotate in and out. So I give them B+. Overall, I'll give the Jets an A-. I think the Jets had a very good draft. I'm excited to see what Joe Douglas does with this team in future years. I don't think the Jets will make the playoffs this year. I think they'll be average, like I said, saying it to the other day, talking to somebody the other day. I think they'll be like last year. I think they'll be somewhere around 7-9, 8-8. I think they're going to be average. I think they'll have another average year. I think the Jets, I think Joe Douglas is bringing this team into the right direction. I think if he, it's just the draft, so he could be such a good, a lot of people think that he drafted good. I think he drafted very good as well. I think, like I said, our past 2 GMs, he's already topped that. What he's just done in just a year. I think he's done very good. And the Jets, getting an off-season acquisition, I think we got Josh Doctson as well at our receiving core too. Just thought of that, with Denzel Mims and Josh Doctson. I think Josh Doctson will be decent for us. I don't think he'll be insane, but, he'll be average. And then, obviously, I think Joe Douglas is going to be a solid. I think Joe Douglas is going to do good for us. I think he's already done good for us. Obviously, in the draft, I think he helped us a lot out in the draft. Getting some good picks, trading back. We got some good corners this year. Pierre Desire, I think that's how you pronounce his last name, from the Colts. He'll be another starting cornerback we picked up in free agency. The little names this year, we were able to really build this cornerbacking core. And I think the cornerback core will be decent this year. I think we'll have a decent, our 3 biggest focus this year: wide receiver, offensive line, cornerback. I think offensive line is probably going to be the best coming out of the rebuild at that position. Then I'll probably go cornerbacking core. I think we're going to have a good cornerbacking core, and I think it's going to go wide receiver. I just don't know if we have enough wide receivers there yet. Because there's still a lot. There's still the off season. You never know. There could be a cornerback that comes available or a receiver that comes available and says, "Hey, we'll pick you up." So I give the Jets A- overall. I think they drafted very good. I think, like I said, they had a top 5 or 6 draft in the NFL. Believe that this team is headed into if Joe Douglas keeps doing what he's doing, I believe this team could be headed into the right direction. This is kind of the first sign of hope for me with the Jets was this draft. And I'm hoping that, Joe Douglas can do that. Keep it going. I hope it's not just the NFL draft that he's good at, but he can make a team win anything. As a Jets fan, we just want to see playoffs. We would love to see Super Bowls, but we got to go baby steps. We got to win 10 games. Then we got to make the playoffs. Then we got to win a playoff game. Then we got to win 2 playoff games. Then we got to win multiple playoff games. Then we got to make it to Super Bowl. Then we have to win a Super Bowl, right? Baby steps. Baby steps. We'll get there. We'll get there eventually. Last Dance was last night, and episodes 3 and 4, very, very good. Watched the Dennis Rodman episodes. An odd dude. Had a tough upbringing. Mom kicked him out of the house. 2 years where he was homeless. He'll switch on and off. He'll live in his friend's backyard. It was tough. His upbringing was tough. Definitely an odd dude, though. If you haven't watched it yet, you could skip this part of the video. Back on tonight. But if you haven't watched it yet, you'll skip this part. But it was good. It was very good. I enjoyed it. I think MJ said last night, it was funny because they throw back to normal time, but it was funny because MJ was like, Dennis Rodman was going to go out to Las Vegas. He was a big partier, big drinker, big cigar kind of guy, big party guy. And since he was a little odd, he's a little odd up here. He said, he needed a break sometimes from basketball because, his mind's a little messed up. And which is unfortunate because he was such a talented player, and I think his mind, his brain, what was going up inside of his head was, I think, a little I think that he could have been even so much better if he was less kooky. And I kind of feel bad for the guy because his upbringing wasn't good. He he didn't have a dad. His mom kicked him out of the house when he was young. He was homeless, He doesn't talk to his mom anymore. He had a tough upbringing. He doesn't really, have a family. He's not married or anything. He was kind of lonely. He obviously, he's a Hall of Famer. But with him being a little kooky, he needed to take breaks. So Phil Jackson came to MJ, and he was like, Dennis Rodman's gonna go to Las Vegas. He's like, MJ's like, he goes to Las Vegas, he ain't ever coming back. So like, he'll only be 48 hours. So he's like, all right. So he leaves the Bulls arena or whatever training facility, gets right on a plane, goes to Las Vegas, and spends 48 hours there. They showed some of the video. He's riding motorcycles. He was drinking. At that time, he had a girlfriend. And she actually came out last night and talked about it. But he went out with a bunch of his friends and stuff. And, they were all drinking and stuff. And, it was funny because they went back to MJ. And he was like, did he come back in 48 hours? He's like, nah, he came back a little later. Meaning he'll never come back, meaning like he'll just stay there. And MJ, I guess, ended up going out there and knocking on their hotel room door and saying, like, you gotta come back. Like, it's time. Like, no messing around. But he was unreal. Like I said before, Dennis Rodman was the defender on that team. He's probably the best, if not one of the best, rebounder of all time. One of the best rebounders of all time. He was a great defender. He was, he took the hits. It's almost like he protected him. He was almost like he was MJ and Scotty's bodyguard. He took the hits for them. He took the elbows. He took the drives on guys that are 7 feet tall. He played on the Pistons. They called him the Bad Boy Pistons. They were a very dirty team. And when MJ and them were walking off the court after they won, they swept them in the Eastern Conference Finals, I think it was. MJ said, Isaiah Thomas said, or one of the guys said, we're not shaking their hands. So they walked right off the court, and the Bulls, they never shook hands. And, still to this day, they have a little bad blood. I mean, like not still though. It's just they called them Bad Boy Pistons, because of what they did. They were a dirty team. They had Rodman at the time, and then Rodman came to the Bulls and stuff. And, it's crazy because, out of all this, the documentary and stuff, it's pretty crazy. But that's what I got for today's pod. Hopefully you enjoyed. Tomorrow, we might be talking about the NBA a little bit because they opened back up their training facility May 1st. I think they're planning to the states that have eased the stuff, like the lockdown and stuff. I know some states have eased, the lockdown stuff, like with all the stuff going on. Some states have eased it, saying you can go back out, you can do this, you can do that, you just have to be this, social distance thing and all that. So, don't know the whole logistics, but they said to the states that have eased their lockdown orders, the teams will be able to go back to the training facility, which is good. This is one step in the next direction to getting NBA back, and I think this is a very big, it might not seem like a lot, but I think this is a huge step forward for the NBA and getting their season back up and running. So I might talk about that tomorrow, and then 2 more topics and stuff like that. So anyway, hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day, and hope you enjoyed, and thanks for watching.